Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Mark Sexton. I'm a retired police constable from Birmingham. Today is Friday, the 2nd of February 2024, and it's approximately 8 p.m. The reason I'm making this video is for a really important contract that's come to my attention. This is the contract. This is the contract that Pfizer signed with the South African government in relation to the COVID-19 vaccines. What concerns me about this contract is if the UK signed a contract the same as or very similar as this, we're in trouble, and I'll tell you why. The South African Supreme Court ordered the South African government to release the contract for the public to scrutinise, and that happened before Christmas last year, I believe, September, October last year, 2023. I've looked through this contract, and what concerns me is a number of things. First of all, and I will provide the link so you can access this contract, when you go to page number 7, which I've highlighted, and it's there, and you'll be able to see it for yourself. 1.56, section 1.56, vaccine, shall include all vaccines manufactured in whole or in part or supplied directly or indirectly by or on behalf of Pfizer or BioNTech or any of their affiliates that have intended for the purpose of prevention of the human disease COVID-19 or any other human disease, in each case which is caused by any of the virus SARS-CoV-2 and or any or all related strains, mutations, modifications or derivatives of the foregoing that are procured by purchaser. The vaccines are intended for the prevention of the vaccines, but they're not preventing it, are they? So the word prevention in the dictionary, it's very specific. Prevention is the act of stopping something from happening. Well, we now know, and have known for a long time, that the vaccines are not preventing SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19, or any of the mutations. So that is false information. Maybe at the time they thought so, but that suggests to me that those vaccines are not doing what they said on the tin. Naughty, naughty Pfizer. So going back and looking at page 21, section 5.5, there it is there, section 5.5. This is very interesting. Purchaser acknowledgement. Purchaser acknowledges that the vaccine and materials related to the vaccine and their components and constituent materials are being rapidly developed due to the emergency circumstances of the COVID-19 pandemic and will continue to be studied after provision of the vaccine to purchaser under this agreement. This is the interesting bit. Purchaser, in this case the South African government, acknowledge that the long-term effects and efficacy of the vaccines are not currently known, and that there may be adverse effects of the vaccine that are not currently known. So here, in this contract, they're saying to the South African government, quite clearly, the long-term effects and efficacy of the vaccine are not currently known. So, what does efficacy mean? From the dictionary, the ability of something to produce the intended results. Pfizer are telling the government here, we don't know. Yet, if I recall, I'll take from our own experience, our own government and our own media and superstars and sports stars and influencers and GPs who were on TV, some famous people, famous people with big followings who do interviews on social media, on the television, were all saying, oh, it's 95%, 100% effective, safe and effective, 100%, 95%. But here, on page 21, Purchaser Acknowledgement, section 5.5, they're saying, we don't know. Why is this important, you're asking? Come on, Mark, get to the nitty-gritty. Okay, well, here I am. When you go to page 36 of this incredible contract, page 36, what does it say there? At the very top, in witness whereof the parties hereto have caused this agreement to be duly executed and delivered as of the date first written above. The 1st of April 2021, that agreement between Pfizer and the South African government is binding. So let's assume our government, we have to assume this, we rolled out the vaccines in the UK on the 8th of December 2020. Yet, 5 months after the rollout, Pfizer's contract with the South African government is saying they don't know the efficacy, they don't know the long-term effects. So that means our government would have known this information 100%. This is a contract, so our government's lawyers would have read that contract. If it's similar to or the same as the South African government one, and I'm taking that at face value right now, means they knew, our government knew, our lawyers who work for us, for the government, they knew, they would have read this contract. And this contract is 99.99% favourable to Pfizer. They've got no liability, no indemnity against anybody being sued, no third party can sue them. It's all in these different sections in this contract. Page 23, 8.1, total indemnification of Pfizer and BioNTech. Page 25, 9.1, insurance. They will not cover any third-party claims. Page 26, excluded liability. Governments knew exactly what they were signing, knew exactly what they were doing. So why did our government sign a contract and an agreement where they knew something had long-term effects but they didn't know what they were, where they knew it wasn't effective, yet they were going on television every single day? Boris, Whitty, Valence, Van Tam, Sajid Javid. They were going on television and saying it was safe and effective. So they blatantly lied to the British people. Day after day after day. Let's not forget the vaccine minister, Nadim Zahawi. So all these people working for us in government, in the civil service, knew if the contract was the same, that it wasn't effective, they didn't know if it was safe or not, and they gave it to the British people in the millions. And they spent billions buying this product from Pfizer. And have Pfizer committed fraud? Because it doesn't prevent, it's not preventing it. It would appear to be causing it. So how do we go about rectifying what these people have done, these heinous and disgusting crimes? Our government, our civil service, our media have committed against the people. We've got millions of people injured, hundreds of thousands of people dead, excess deaths are through the roof. As per Andrew Bridgen asking the question of Rishi Sunak in Parliament at PMQs on the 31st of the 1st, 24 on Wednesday. And what was Rishi Sunak's reply? Safe, they are safe. Now, really interesting, Rishi Sunak didn't say safe and effective, which has been the mantra that they've been spouting for the last 3 years. So Rishi Sunak, why didn't you say effective? Is it because you've probably looked at the contract and realised, or is it because you're aware of the harm, injury and death that's been caused? So to all the lawyers out there, the barristers out there, the legal superstars out there, you need to get a copy of this contract and you need to sue the British government and the civil service and potentially Pfizer, because as part of Pfizer's agreement, it says in here that this agreement is non-binding if fraud has been committed or misrepresentation. I think Pfizer have committed fraud and misrepresentation because it doesn't prevent what they say it was supposed to prevent. But our government knew that. So, regardless of what Pfizer have or haven't done, our government and their lawyers knew this product was not effective, and they didn't know what the long-term effects were, yet they're spouting over the television day in, day out, in the media, 24/7, indoctrinating the public that it's safe and effective. How do they know when Pfizer's telling them it isn't? Metropolitan Police, are you finally going to do something now? Because we've got evidence. So you need to be getting the contract off our government, don't you? And saying, we'd like to see the contract, please. It's our contract. Make it public. Get it down to the police station. Have a look at it. And then start making the arrest of these people who cause these disgusting crimes against the men, women and children of the United Kingdom. And I would suggest people around the world, get your governments to have a look at the contracts that they've signed on your behalf. Does it say the same? Because if it does, you need to be asking some questions. There needs to be accountability. You've murdered our families. Corporate manslaughter, gross negligent manslaughter, misconduct in public office, misfeasance in public office, manslaughter, fraud, genocide, treason, crimes against humanity. They're all there. And let's not forget terrorism. We were terrorised. Look what they did to the elderly. They injected them to death as well. There is blood on these people's hands. There needs to be accountability. It's time that the people of this country stood up and said, what on earth is going on? There has to be a criminal investigation. Metropolitan Police, do your job. We've had enough. How much more evidence do you need? How much more? I will leave a copy of the link where you can find this contract and you can look for yourself at the points that I've raised. And don't worry, social media or governments, if you think that you're going to delete these links. I've got a copy of the contracts and there's also safe copies with third parties. So delete away. If anybody wants one and they can't find it, I've got this here. I'm happy to make it publicly available. The link will be supplied on this video for everybody to go and have a look what these so-called ministers who work for us have done to us for the last 4 years with the knowledge they don't work, they're not effective, and they knew from the start. Time for accountability, a criminal investigation and accountability, but most importantly, remedy and redress for the many, many victims of these disgusting bioweapons they call vaccines. Thank you.